Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss the transportation system in plants and animal body. Okay, it means already we have discussed the 50% portion of this chapter, and already we have made total 4 videos of this chapter. So from these 4 videos we came to know the main thing in our living organisms body. The first one is the nutrition, the types of nutrition, second digestive system, third photosynthesis, and the last one is the respiratory system in human body. Today we are going to discuss the circulatory system in animals body, the human body, and in the plants body also. So first you should know what is the basic definition of transportation, what is the basic implication of the transportation in the plant's body, and what is the actual usefulness, what is the actual significance of transportation in the plant's body. So now I am going to discuss first what is the basic definition of transportation. So this is actually a live process. This is actually a live process where substances synthesized or absorbed in one part of the body are carried to the other parts of the body. So I am underlining this definition because this is important for your exam. So this is one kinds of the live process where substances, any kinds of substances synthesized or absorbed in one part of the body are carried to the other parts of the body. So in the living organisms, there are two types of living organisms present in our environment. The first one is the plant's body, second one is the animal body. So these both two organisms needs the transportation. So after making the nutrition, after making the food, this nutrition must be circulated to all over their body. Okay, so through the circulatory system, through the transportatory system, this all the nutrition, this all the protein, this all those enzyme, all those energy actually circulated to all over the living organism's body. Next thing is that there is actually one question that the water absorbed by roots is to be transported to the rest of the plant body. I am highlighting this question because this is important for your exam also, that water absorbed by roots is to be transported to the rest of the plant's body. Food produced in the leaves is to be transported to its place of storage. So therefore, there is a requirement for a transport system in plants. So how does this transport system in plants function? Actually, how all those circulatory system, how all those transportatory system actually function in the plant's body. Actually, this transportation system in plants move the energy stored in leaves in different parts. Okay, so it also helps in moving raw materials absorbed from the roots. So I am highlighting this portion. These all the raw materials which is absorbed from the roots to the various organs of the plant, these are entirely different pathways. So there are two different pathways are there. The first one is there is one tissue, that the name of the tissue is xylem. So this xylem actually conducts water and minerals obtained from soil to the rest of the plants, and in the phloem also there is another one tissue is there. The name of the tissue in the plant's body is phloem. So I am highlighting this line. Actually this is important for your exam in your 1 mark question, that what is the basic function of the xylem and what is the basic function of the phloem. So in the xylem actually conducts the water and minerals obtained from the soil to the rest of the plant's body, and the phloem actually transport the food materials which is actually made up by the photosynthesis process. That food materials should be circulated to all over the plant's body, and these food materials from the leaves to different parts of the plant's body is circulated by the phloem tissue. So there is basic difference between the xylem and phloem. The basic difference is the xylem actually transport the water and minerals to all over the body, and the phloem tissue actually transport the food materials from the leaves to different parts of the plant's body. So there might be one question is there, that why this phloem transport the food material, where this phloem actually starts the working from the leaves. Why? Because leaves is the kitchen of the plant's body. This photosynthesis process actually takes place in the leaves. So that's why the phloem, as because phloem transport the food material, so that's why this phloem tissue starts their work from the leaves to different parts of the plant's body. So next is the transport of water. Next point is the transport of water. So first thing is these components of the xylem tissue. These components of the xylem tissue, actually the tracheids and vessels of roots, stems and leaves, is the main important, actually the part, this main important part which is interconnected to the each other and to form a continuous system of water conducting channels which reaches all parts of the plant. So I am repeating again. So how this xylem tissue actually circulate the all the water and minerals to all over the plant's body, that the components of this xylem tissue, actually this xylem tissue of the roots are composed by the several tissue system. These tracheids, this trachea and different kinds of the xylem vessels are also there, and by all those things they are interconnected to each other and to form a continuous system of water conducting channels. And this whole system actually reaches the all parts of the body. Next thing is the root hair with adhering soil particles. Next thing is the root hair with adhering soil particles. So first thing is that the root is the main preliminary, actually the system for conducting these water and minerals from the soil in the plant's body. So these roots actually absorbs the water and mineral soils from the soil, and after that through the capillary layer, through the capillary hair, these all those things are circulated to all over the plant's body. Okay, so this is known as the capillary water, and this capillary water actually along with the minerals dissolved in it is absorbed by the cells in the root hair. So this is the basic things I am repeating again. So what is the main function of the root hair? That the root absorbs actually water and mineral salts from the soil, and each soil particle actually is surrounded by a continuous film of water. Each soil particle actually surrounded by a continuous film of water, and it's loosely held to it by a force known as the capillary force. Okay, through this capillary force the water actually circulate against the gravitational force to the all the parts of the plant's body. So this is the overview, this is the basic mechanism of getting the water, minerals and nutrients from the soil to all over the plant's body. Next thing is the absorption of water from the soil. Next thing is the absorption of water from the soil. So the cells in the root hair are deficient in water because they continuously supply the root hair is less than the water potential. Okay, so the cells in the root hairs are deficient in water actually because they continuously supplying the water. So the concentration of water in the root hair is less than the water present in the soil. So this is called through this water and minerals actually transport to all over the plant's body against the gravitational force, because the water is storing in the soil, but the water, when the water circulate, when the minerals water circulate to all over the plant's body, so water should be circulated against the gravitational force. So this upward movement of water and mineral is called the ascent of sap. The upward movement, actually this upward movement of water and mineral is called the ascent of sap. This is important for your 1 mark question, that what is the basic meaning of the ascent of sap. So you have to write this thing, that the upward movement of water and mineral is called the ascent of sap. Next thing is due to the continuous inflow of water, the pressure is developed inside the root cells, and this root pressure actually helps in pushing the plant cell sap upwards to the xylem vessel. So this is called the transpiration pull. This is also called the transpiration fool for your exam. This ascent of sap is important for your 1 mark question. So there are some interesting facts are there that which I have highlighted. The first thing is the 1% of water absorbed by plant. Only 1% of water absorbed by plant is used in photosynthesis. So this is one important highlighting portion, that 1% of the water which is circulated to all over the body is absorbed by plant is used in photosynthesis. The rest of the 99% is lost through the transpiration. Okay, the next important point is, in one growing season a corn plant transpires more than 200 liters of water. This is not the minimum amount, this is not the less amount, the 200 liters of water. Next, the water thus absorbed by the roots and transported into the plant body, which plays various vital functions, some of which are these three important functions which is performed by the plant's body. I am underlining these 3 points: the transportation of soluble substances from one plant part to the other. The next one is the production of food through the photosynthesis, and the next one is the cooling the plant through the transpiration process. Next thing is the translocation of food. Next important point is the translocation of food. Already we have discussed the translocation, the transportation of water. So now I am coming to the point, the translocation of food, how the food is translocated to all over the plant's body. Why? Because only the water and minerals is just not sufficient for the plant's nutrition, plant's growth, plant's development. So they need also food like the human body. So how this food translocated to all over the plant's body? So the transportation of food from the leaves to other part of the plant occurs in the vascular tissues, namely as the phloem. So already I have discussed that through the phloem tissue actually the food material circulated to all over the plant's body. The name of the tissue is phloem. Please remember these two tissues name, the xylem and the phloem. So xylem tissue actually transport the water and minerals to the plant's body, and the phloem tissue actually transport the food to the plant's body. So this process of transporting food is known as the translocation. This process of the transporting food is called the translocation. Okay, so when the phloem also transporting the amino acid and other substances also. Okay, so not only the glucose, there are another chemical substance, nutritious substance is also there, the amino acid and other substances which actually influence the plant growth and development. Okay, so this translocation in phloem, unlike the xylem, is achieved by the utilizing energy from the ATP. So plant's body, so not only the plant's body, all the living organism need the ATP. What is the full form of ATP? The full form of ATP is adenosine triphosphate. The full form of ATP is adenosine triphosphate. And what is the main advantage? What is the main actually the function of ATP? That it provides the energy. This ATP actually provides the energy. So as a result, when the osmotic pressure in the tissue increases, so it causes the water to move into it. So this process is helpful in moving materials according to the requirement of the plant. So this is the basic things of this is the basic overview of the transportation in the plant's body. Now I am coming to the point, the circulatory system. Circulatory system. Okay, so this circulatory system is very important in our body. Why this circulatory system is very important? Just like the digestive system, respiratory system, the circulatory system is also important, because through the circulatory system the oxygen and the most nutritious substance are actually all the nutrients circulate to all over our body, just like the plant's body. So like the other system also, this circulatory system actually consists of by some organs. So we will discuss about this organ system in this video. So nutrients are actually required for living. For all the living organism needs the nutrition for their survivability. So for example, oxygen is required by all cells in the body. And how does the atmospheric oxygen reach the cells? And is there a system that transport the nutrients or collects waste material in the body? So when I am going to discuss the circulatory system, so there might be this type of question is there, that how does atmospheric oxygen reach the cells? Okay, because we need oxygen. Or is there any system that transport the nutrients and collects all the materials? So is there any system is there in our body? So the answer is the circulatory system. So this system that transport the nutrients and collects waste material for disposal in the body, that's called the circulatory system. And this circulatory system consists of some central organs. So I am highlighting this thing. This is important. This circulatory system is very important for your exam. This circulatory system is very important for your exam. So this circulatory system actually consists of the central organ like the heart, like blood vessel, like the circulating fluid, like the another system, all those things, that's called the lymphatic system, which transport the immune cell. So now I am going to discuss the blood vessels. So already we knew that which organs are actually responsible for the circulatory system. So now I am coming to the point, the blood vessels. So what is the meaning of blood vessels? So actually these arteries, so there are different, actually two things are there, that the artery and vein. Okay, so through the artery and vein the blood vessels are formed. So artery is a tough elastic tubes that carry blood from the heart and supply it to various organs of the body. And these arteries actually divided into small vessels. These small vessels are called the capillaries, which have thin walls. Okay, so next is the vein. So veins are the thin walled as compared to the arteries. Okay, and this is the basic difference between the artery and vein. Just look at the structure. The red color structure is the artery and the blue color structure is vein. Okay, and the largest vein in our body is the superior and inferior vena cava, and the largest artery in our body is the aorta. So always remember, in the picture the red color is always will be the pure, it means the oxygenated, so it means the artery. So red color always denotes the artery and the blue color is always denotes the vein. Okay, next thing is the components of blood. So what is the main components of blood? So there are total 3 components are there in the blood system. First one is the RBC, red blood cell. The biological term of the RBC is the erythrocyte. Second one is the WBC, white blood cell, and third one is the platelet. Okay, so now you have to know what is the basic, actually the function of this RBC, what is the basic function of the WBC, and what is the basic function of the platelet. So that this RBC actually, why our blood color is red? Our blood color is red because the presence of the hemoglobin, and this hemoglobin actually present in the RBC area. Next one is the WBC. What is the basic function of the WBC? The basic function of the WBC actually to protect us against any kinds of the pathogen. And next one is the platelets. What is the basic function of the platelets? The basic function of the platelet is to actually to clot the blood in the place of the injury. Okay, so this is the actually to prevent the blood loss. This platelets is the main function of the platelet, that it prevents the blood loss from the injured site. So this is the basic components of the blood. Next question. So I have made one question that blood is actually red because the presence of the hemoglobin. What is actually function in the blood? So this is the one question, that blood is red because of the presence of the hemoglobin. So what is the function in the blood? So you have to know what is the function of the blood system. So the main function of the hemoglobin actually is to transport the oxygen molecule to body cells for the cellular respiration. Okay, so this is very important. This line is very important, that the main function of hemoglobin that is to transport the oxygen molecule to body cells for the cellular respiration. Okay, so when we breathe in, so that time when we inspire, so that time we take oxygen which reaches the lung alveoli. After that, oxygen diffuses into blood of the surrounding capillaries. Then we are getting sufficient amount of oxygen. Then the hemoglobin pigment present in the blood. So what is the basic function of the hemoglobin? The basic function of the hemoglobin, that this hemoglobin actually present in the RBC cell, which gets attached to the 4 oxygen molecule and form the oxyhemoglobin, which oxygenated in the blood. So just look at the structure. This is the blood flow, this is the wall of air sac, this is the RBC. So each RBC has the different millions of the hemoglobin. So each hemoglobin attached to 4 oxygen molecules. So in this way we are getting sufficient amount of oxygen for our survivability. So this oxygenated blood is then distributed to all the body cells by the heart. So after supplying the oxygen to the body cell, the blood collects carbon dioxide, which is produced after cellular respiration in the cells. So thus the blood becomes deoxygenated. So this deoxygenated blood carries veins, and this oxygenated blood actually carries the artery. So this is the basic things of the activity of the artery and vein. When lungs have a high concentration of oxygen, so therefore it diffuses into the blood. So I am underlining this line point because this is important. So the lungs have a high concentration of oxygen, so therefore it diffuses into the blood, and on the other hand it has more concentration of carbon dioxide, which moves into the area of its lower concentration in the lung alveoli. So this is actually all those things are interconnected to each other. So this exchange of gases occurs in the alveoli. So already we know when we have discussed this all those things in our respiratory system portion in the last video, there I think you got to know that the alveoli is the main site of the gaseous exchange. Okay, so this is the basic thing. When the oxygen inhaled is transported to all parts of the body, while the carbon dioxide produced in the cells is collected from the cells and exhaled out. So this is the basic function of the oxygenation and deoxygenation of the blood, and in this way in our body the amount of oxygen and carbon dioxide become balanced. Okay, so this is it in today's video. In our next video we will discuss the how does the heart distribute oxygenated blood. Okay, so from this video we came to know that first thing is the transportation in the plant's body, how all the water and minerals transport to all the plant's body. Second thing is the how all the food materials transport in the plant's body, the translocation of food. And the next thing is the overview of the circulatory system, the components of the blood, all those things. In our next video we will discuss the how blood is circulated in all over the human body. Okay, so till then, goodbye, thank you.